Hey everyone, how's it going? Hope everyone's doing well. Back today with a response video actually. So this is a thread that's been going around for a couple of weeks, created by Mr. Boulder, James from England. He's recently achieved 1,000 subscribers, so congratulations James, that's well deserved. I remember it was only like just under a year ago when you had surpassed 500 subscribers, but as I said, well deserved because you put out fantastic content. If you're not familiar with Mr. Boulder's channel, go and check it out. He covers an eclectic range of music, mostly metal and hard rock, but also various other styles well outside of that. And I can relate to that too. And he's just a really down-to-earth, nice guy, and we often chat. So definitely check out his channel if you haven't. Also, on the topic of Mr. Boulder, he's no stranger to this channel. If you've been watching this channel, you should be well familiar with him. He's actually won both of my contest threads that I've had. So one about 6 months ago when I achieved 200 subscribers, he provided a response video to that and won in the draw, and also in my most recent competition. Don't always judge a book by its cover. So he's won 2 out of 2 threads, which is pretty amazing. So I'm more than happy to give back to his channel because I really enjoy watching it and he's a great guy. So go and check it out. So what he's asked us to do for this competition today, it's a 2-part question really. Firstly, provide shout outs to 3 other YouTube channels which you enjoy watching. And secondly, to present 10 albums that you would take to a desert island if you were sent there for a month. So really interesting topic, and I'm looking forward to showing those albums. But first of all, talking about shout outs, there's so many great ones out there, and if I watch and comment on your videos, you already know that. So that's, you know, I really enjoy a lot of ones out there, and thanks a lot to the people who shouted out my channel, really appreciate it. So the 3 channels I'm going to talk about, this is one I discovered, one I discovered recently. It's a channel called Future Ruins, and it's run by a guy, I think his name's Jim. I could be wrong, so sorry about that. But I recently discovered his channel after he got in contact with me. What I like about it is he presents metal music albums and talks about them. He's very knowledgeable and articulate, but he also couples that with outdoor nature excursions, you know, like outdoor activities like hiking. So he presents a lot of videos about that, like hikes he's done near his place, and that's something I can really relate to because I also enjoy nature and the outdoors, and I see the connection with metal music, and I thought that's just really nice to see that someone else thinks the same way as me in that sense, and the content he presents is really good. Like I said, very knowledgeable and articulate, so go and check out his channel for something different, unique, and in my opinion, very professional as well. So Future Ruins. He was actually put in contact with me by a guy called Rick, and you probably know this channel too, but if you don't, check it out. The Dreadful Minutes, that's run by a guy called Rick, also in the US, and again, really nice guy, very knowledgeable, and I really enjoy the way he talks about albums and music. Yeah, he just presents it in a really articulate and interesting way. So that's my second shout out, The Dreadful Minutes. And now the third channel I'm going to talk about, this channel has about 250 subscribers, so quite a lot, but I think he deserves so much more. You've probably heard me mention him before. That's Creepy Ghoul Vision. So Creepy Ghoul is a guy up in Canada. I think he's always saying Scarborough, Ontario, Canada. But I love that channel. I discovered his channel when he commented on one of my videos, just saying, go and check out my channel. And I went, okay. And then I watched it. I just love it. He's a hilarious, really entertaining guy. He is into a lot of punk and metal music, so like punk and extreme metal, and like he's a big fan of the Misfits, and he's also really into horror films and horror collectibles. So what's interesting about his channel is that he'll often not just show and talk about albums, of which there's an extensive amount, but he will also do videos on horror collectibles, books, DVDs. I've seen him even review like whiskey glasses that he's bought and pizza pockets. He reviews food sometimes, but always in a really hilarious and entertaining way. So I think he's absolutely brilliant, and he deserves a lot more subscribers than he has. He's got a good following, but go and check out his channel for something quirky and off the wall. That's Creepy Ghoul Vision. All right, so I've done enough rambling. Now we're getting to the 10 albums that I would take to me if I was sent to a desert island for a month. So I'm not going to give a preamble to this. Let's just say that some people might be surprised by my choices, but to me, if I'm going to a particular place, the music has to fit the environment and atmosphere. So yes, that will make sense as I present these albums. So starting with the CDs, the first album that I would take to a desert island, this is Running Wild with Pile of Skulls. So Running Wild is pirate-themed heavy metal. Everyone's probably familiar with them. I just love this album so much. Like, this band is so heavy, so much fun, and I like their lyrical concept, talking about pirates. It always paints pictures in my head, and they have, this album is absolutely fantastic, but probably my favorite songs on this are Lead or Gold and Treasure Island. So if I'm going to a desert island, that song, it always invokes pictures in my mind of, pirate battles on a tropical island somewhere. So I think that would be very fitting for a desert island. And yeah, without a doubt, this was my first choice. So Running Wild with Pile of Skulls, particularly because of Treasure Island. Okay. All right. The next album I would take with me to a desert island. This is Rotting Christ with Sleep of the Angels. So Rotting Christ, Hellenic Greek black metal, which is very atmospheric. I may have mentioned this before, but when I listen to a lot of Greek and Hellenic black metal, it paints pictures in my mind of actual Greek landscapes and the islands. So again, I think it's very good island music, Rotting Christ. It might sound strange, but when a few years ago, when I was traveling in Greece, in Castellorizo, that's a small island near Turkey. Beautiful, like azure, clear waters, amazing scenery and environment. I listened to this album when I went on a 2-hour walk by myself, and it was absolutely fitting, fantastic island music just to fit that Greek and Hellenic atmosphere. This album, it's traditional Greek black metal, but it's also mixing with Gothic black metal, and it's very symphonic, like just some brilliant songs, and these melodies are just trance-like with their infectious qualities. So some of my favorite songs on this would be Cold Colors. After Dark, I feel, has the most atmospheric melody. Victoranias has just got this massive symphonic part. It's excellent. Der Perfekte Traum. Oh, so many. This is just a brilliant album. So again, I've listened to this on a Greek island. It suits that island atmosphere. So Rotting Christ with Sleep of the Angels. Okay, now the rest I'm going to show are actually records. So the remaining 8. So what else would I take with me to a desert island? First of all, this is Alcatraz with Disturbing the Peace. I spoke about this in my recent video about Don't Always Judge a Book by Its Cover. Just brilliant, heavy AOR rock with a lot of synthesizers, so synth rock. Very characteristic of the 1980s, and like I was saying before, it always invokes images of films like Scarface and Miami Vice, so that kind of beach-like atmosphere. So once again, suitable for a desert island. Like just so many brilliant songs on this. It's Graham Bonnet's band. So God Bless Video, that was the famous hit from this, but I also love Wire and Wood, and also the song Desert Diamond. So I'm on a desert island. Desert Diamond is very atmospheric and suitable for being out in the heat. And what else? Skyfire, another classic synth rock song. I just love this album, so I couldn't not have some Alcatraz with me. So Alcatraz with Disturbing the Peace. All right. Okay, this is one that will surprise everyone, no doubt. Yes, Bob Marley and the Wailers, Rastaman Vibration. So I previously spoke about this album on my Guilty Pleasures video, and by the way, in that video I said we should never have to feel guilty about the music we like. Guilty Pleasures, I guess, reflects what people wouldn't expect you to listen to. But yeah, I showed the CD, but I've also got the vinyl because I love this album. I know from experience, you go on a beach holiday or you travel to an island or a beach, reggae music is always very fitting, at least in my opinion. You're having a couple of drinks, like beers or cocktails or whatever, sitting on the beach. This is perfect music, and this is an underrated album. Like, I know the famous one by Bob Marley is Legend. I don't like that one because it's got too many cliche, predictable, overrated hits, in my opinion. Like, I know they're good songs. My friends and my brother and I, when we were in our 20s, we used to call Legend the middle-aged burnout album. But we have to watch that now because we are middle-aged ourselves. But this album is fantastic, just underrated, really good material from Bob Marley. Like, I don't really go for the sentimental songs so much, but some of these songs really well suit an island atmosphere. So my favorites on this would be Roots Rock Reggae, great guitars in that, Johnny Was, Want More, Crazy Bald Head, Night Shift, yeah, they're my absolute favorite songs, and I've actually played this album on an island. It's perfect. So gotta have some reggae. Bob Marley with Rastaman Vibration. Okay, up next, going to the opposite end of the spectrum. Of course, Dark Throne with Under a Funeral Moon. Now, I've heard some people in this thread say, oh, a desert island, it's not conducive to cold-sounding black metal. So let me explain why I'd choose this one. First of all, it's one of my favorite black metal albums of all time. But secondly, it's something as I've mentioned, in relation to the Future Ruins channel as well, that with me, metal, especially black metal in particular, I feel that there's a strong connection between black metal and nature. And I feel that this album, from my experience of when I discovered it and everything, I associate it with being in nature or around nature. So like either in a forest or something, or a forest near the beach, something like that. When I used to travel to Byron Bay in Australia, like this is where that's where I discovered this album. I associate it very much with that, like forest on the beach, being in nature. So yes, this is cold and grim, but you can even see from the album cover, he's standing out in the forest. I think it has a strong connection to nature, and I just love this album. Listened to it once again yesterday. It's flawless, cold Norwegian black metal. So yes, Dark Throne with Under a Funeral Moon. Okay, now, if you guys know me, you know I couldn't go without some Kiss. So yeah, lick it up. I've done a thread video before in response to Rock and Metal Plus. I mentioned this is my favorite rock album of all time, so no surprise. I love all of Kiss's discography, mostly. But yeah, this is my all-time favorite album, so if there was one I had to take with me, this would be it. This was, yeah, of course, it's the Unmasked era, and featuring Vinnie Vincent, the shredder on guitar. But this album is just pure energy, so much fun, great party music. So yeah, on a desert island, it would bring some life, I'm sure. So like each and every track on this is good, and it was the album where the band was going more in a sort of the closest they got to being heavy metal without really being heavy metal. This album and Creatures of the Night, but yeah, absolutely great party album. So Kiss, look it up. Okay. And then I could also not take some Crocus. So Crocus, Headhunter. I've mentioned before my brother got me into this band, and they sound, a lot of comparisons have been made to AC/DC, but I think it's also a melting pot of other bands from the 80s, like 80s new wave of British heavy metal and also glam metal, to varying degrees on different albums. But this is the album I always come back to. I own 4 Crocus albums on vinyl. This is easily my favorite. It's just like, got that perfect blend of raw and rock, and it's not overproduced, but just brilliant. And like, it's got the power ballads, it's got the fast rocking songs, but I just associate this so much with party life, and like on an island, it would just, I think, invoke that like a good atmosphere, which would be conducive to that environment. So yeah, Crocus with Headhunter. Okay, coming up next, Marduk, Those of the Unlight. So there's the logo. Yep, so I've also mentioned in Rock and Metal Plus's video that this is my favorite metal album of all time. Obviously it's Swedish black metal, but I would say if I had to choose a favorite in general metal album, this would be it. So again, I listened to this last night. This has always been my favorite Marduk album. Just fantastic, blistering, blasting, raw yet atmospheric black metal. It's absolute perfection. Some acoustic guitars and synths in some parts for atmosphere, and once again, this is an album which I associate very much with being in nature, like songs like Wolves and On Darkened Wings. I can just picture being in the woods, listening to that music. So like a desert island, a lot of beaches have forest and mountains, so I think this would be very suitable for that environment. So another black metal album, and I'll just show you this CD cover because it's got the logo, it's a bit better, but yeah, Marduk, Those of the Unlight. Okay, now going to the opposite end of the spectrum again, because you need some variety. The next album I'd take would be Mick Jagger, She's the Boss. Yeah, so Mick Jagger, obviously the frontman of Rolling Stones. In the 1980s, he released 2 solo albums. This was the first one. They were both very good, but I actually really like this one. Rolling Stones is more associated with blues, but when he did his solo project, it was more pop rock and sometimes veering into hard rock. This album is just a ton of fun, like so many great songs to sing along to. It always puts me in a good mood. Like it's a good album to put on before going out in the city, but also I just think on a desert island, you can't go wrong with this kind of music keeping you in a good mood. There are some filler tracks, but in general, it's just a really fun album. So favorite songs on this would be Lonely at the Top, Half a Loaf, Running Out of Luck, Hard Woman, Just Another Night, Lucky in Love, She's the Boss. Lucky in Love and She's the Boss are probably my two favorite. Just so much fun. So yeah, gotta have some fun atmosphere on an island. So Mick Jagger with She's the Boss. Okay, and appropriately, going to the opposite end of the spectrum again, the last one I would take with me, Streborg with Solitude. So obviously, you're on a desert island, you're alone, you're in solitude. So again, this is coming back to that idea that I find that black metal has a strong connection with nature, particularly in the case of Streborg, where he mentioned in that One Man Metal documentary, he sees them as the same entity, like black metal music and nature, like they channel that same entity. I completely agree. This is ambient, cold black metal, and it's very mysterious. Like this album photo just captures the mood perfectly for this band. You know, there's some keyboards, but it's very tinkly and eerie, so I imagine if I was wandering around alone on a desert island, particularly in the forest at night there, this would be absolutely perfect, and I would be in solitude. So that's Streborg with Solitude. Okay guys, so that's my 10 choices for music that I'd take to a desert island. I have to say, when I chose these, they came to me very quickly. So I think that was a natural choice. Then I went back through my collection and there was a couple of changes I thought of making, but in the end, no, I was happy with that. So yeah, like James said, these are just albums that you like, that, you know, it's not like essential ones you have to take. So some people might say, oh, there's no Metallica, no Megadeth, no death metal. Yes, but it's just my inclination about songs which I feel would be suitable for a desert island and being on an island in general. So a lot of that's to do with the setting and the atmosphere that influence my choices. All right, so that's it guys. So I've finished this video for now, much to your relief, I'm sure. Not too long. So I hope you enjoyed the video. What do you think of my choices? Remember, variety is the spice of life, so I have no regrets and make no apologies about that. And yeah, so James, once again, congratulations on achieving 1,000 subs. And it's, as I said, it's well deserved. If you haven't checked James's channel out, definitely do so. Mr. Boulder, I'll leave the link in the description, along with those other channels which I shouted out. So I'm going to leave you there, guys. I'll be back next week with another video, and you'll find out what that is soon. So in the meantime, take care and stay safe, and I'll chat to you later. Bye.